A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant move that could further complicate the already dire humanitarian situation in Gaza, Israel has officially notified the United Nations that it is canceling the agreement that has regulated its relations with the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, since 1967. This decision, announced by the Israeli Foreign Ministry on Monday, follows the recent passage of legislation by the Israeli parliament that bans UNRWA from operating in Israel and restricts cooperation between Israeli authorities and the agency, which has been a crucial provider of aid and education services to millions of Palestinians in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. Israel has long criticized UNRWA, which was established in the aftermath of the 1948 war that coincided with the creation of the State of Israel. The Israeli government has accused the agency of harboring anti-Israel bias and perpetuating the conflict by maintaining Palestinians in a state of permanent refugee status. Philippe Lazzarini, the chief of UNRWA, expressed grave concerns over the situation, revealing that the entry of aid trucks into Gaza has been drastically reduced to an average of just 30 trucks a day. This figure represents a mere 6% of the commercial and humanitarian supplies that were entering Gaza prior to the outbreak of the war. Lazzarini stated, "This cannot meet the needs of 2 million people, many of whom are starving, sick, and in desperate conditions." In contrast, an Israeli government spokesman claimed that no limits had been imposed on aid entering Gaza, citing that 47 aid trucks had entered northern Gaza on a single day. However, reports from various sources indicate that aid shipments have reached their lowest levels since the beginning of October. The situation in Gaza has become increasingly precarious, with many Palestinians struggling to afford basic necessities. Abu al-Walid, who runs the Happiness Kitchen, a food distribution initiative funded by donations and international organizations, reported that they are struggling to source enough food to meet the needs of approximately 20,000 people in the area of Al-Mawasi, west of Khan Yunis. "We're surviving off the distribution," said Samar Eid, a mother of 3, highlighting the dire conditions faced by families in the region. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza is exacerbated by ongoing violence, with Israeli airstrikes resulting in the deaths of at least 12 Palestinians on Monday alone. Residents fear that the new air and ground attacks, coupled with forced evacuations, are aimed at emptying northern Gaza to create buffer zones against Hamas militants. The Palestinian Health Ministry reported that Israeli forces are continuing to bombard the Kamal Adwan hospital, further complicating medical care for injured civilians. As the conflict escalates, the international community, including the United States and various Western allies, has expressed alarm over Israel's decision to dismantle UNRWA's operations, fearing it will worsen the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The legislation does not explicitly outlaw UNRWA's operations in the Palestinian territories, but it severely impacts their ability to provide aid and assistance. Israel's UN ambassador, Danny Danon, defended the government's actions, stating that despite overwhelming evidence of Hamas infiltration into UNRWA, the UN has failed to take appropriate measures. Meanwhile, in a separate incident, Israeli forces conducted a ground operation in Syria, capturing a Syrian national accused of collaborating with Iran, marking the first confirmed instance of Israeli troops operating within Syrian territory during the ongoing conflict. As the situation continues to deteriorate, Palestinian officials reported that Israeli settlers were responsible for an overnight attack in which several cars were set ablaze near the Palestinian Authority's headquarters in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. While no injuries were reported, the incident highlights the increasing tensions and violence in the region. The conflict, which reignited on October 7, 2023, following a deadly attack by Hamas militants that killed approximately 1,200 people in Israel, has resulted in significant casualties on both sides. According to Gaza health authorities, over 43,000 Palestinians have died as a result of Israeli military actions, with many casualties being women and children. As the international community calls for a ceasefire, the prospects for peace and stability in the region appear increasingly bleak, with no clear resolution in sight. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.